Now let's see the pre-treatment of milk for making cheese, as we earlier discussed, because milk is the raw material that has to be used for making cheese. That is why a lot of exercise has to be done in order to treat the milk before it goes fermentation process. It is essential for making good quality cheese. There's no other opinion about this, and it would ensure the quality of the product and the safety of product as well. As we earlier discussed, that quality is the utmost important thing in all the food products and particularly cheese. But the safety is also one of the element that has to be considered when it comes to the selection of good quality milk. So we have to look at that the milk does not pose any safety hazards. It should not be contaminated with the serious pathogens, or it should not have any other chemical additives or physical additives that can have hazards in the final product. So if we talk about some of the steps involved, it involves centrifugation process. The centrifugation, as we earlier said, it is used to standardize milk in terms of fat contents. So these fat contents can be adjusted according to the desired fat percentage that is needed in the final product. It is also possible that we can take different fractions of milk with specific fat percentage, because fat would have a really important role to play in the consistency of the final product as well as the flavor of the final product. So fat percentage has to be adjusted accordingly. If there's a variation in the fat percentage, you can expect variation in the final quality of the end product as well. So consistency of cheese is, as I said, it is of course very important. Milk can be added with fat. In certain times, maybe we need higher fat percentage in order to make it end product, or there may be lesser amount of fat that is naturally present in the milk, because the milk fat depends upon the species of milking animal as well as seasons as well, or feeding practices as well. So sometime you may be needed to add fat from external sources to adjust this fat percentage. Proteins can also be added, because proteins are the main constituent of cheese, because all the proteins get coagulated except whey, and then these proteins are then taken up as raw material for further cheese manufacturing or aging or ripening of this product. Homogenization is done, as I earlier said. Homogenization is actually the reduction of size of the fat globule particle so that they can be equally distributed within the milk overall. So you can see that in case of homogenized milk, there's no creaming on top of milk. But if the milk is not homogenized, when it is stored at a lower temperature, you can see the cream would rise to the top of the milk and it can be separated. So one of the reason is actually the equal distribution or consistency, but there are other considerations as well. For example, if we don't have this equal distribution of fat particles in the milk overall, that would affect the heating property of the milk as well, because this heat has to be applied in the process of fermentation or sterilization if needed. So this heat distribution is also dependent upon the distribution of fat in the milk itself. As we said, the milk has to be heated at HTSC process, that is high temperature short time. So that is the reason that we need to standardize the milk for its composition. It has to be homogenized in order to have equal distribution of fat globules within the overall milk composition. So as we earlier discussed, plate heat exchangers are used for heat treatment of milk, and these heat exchangers, they would work under pressure. So the pressure is normally 10 to 25 megapascal in the first stage, and then the next stage we don't have that high pressure, it's only 5 megapascal. So this pressure would also be affecting the heat distribution as well as the inactivation of enzymes and many of the bacteria or pathogen within the milk. Pasteurization, as we earlier said, it is generally done for safety consideration. It can be done in many cases. There are also some products that are made from the raw milk. Some cheese can be made from the raw milk as well, which is not heat treated. But pasteurization is necessary because it would be killing many of the pathogen, and as we know that pasteurization is the targeted killing of pathogens within any food. So once we target the most serious and specialized pathogens within the milk source, and then when we design the heating time and duration, that would make sure that the pathogens do not exist in this final product. So once we pasteurize the milk, we would be making sure that cheese it would not pose any safety concerns. And as you know, that it is 72 degrees C for few minutes treatment that is given in the pasteurization. So this was about the pre-treatment of milk that has to go for fermentation process.